So, Work2Game saying goodbye to Final Fantasy XIV. Now, I was on their podcast once upon a time a few years ago. I had a really good time chatting with them. And so I wonder, I'm just curious. I don't know anything about this, but I just want to know what's happened and why you don't want to make the content anymore.
Today, I want to talk to you guys about why I'm leaving Final Fantasy XIV, my reasons for doing so, the impact on the content going forward, not just within my controller guide series, but also how it will impact our collabs over at Work2Game and news coverage, as well as FanFest. So this video is going to be quite detailed.
Yeah, are you still
going to
do
my
FanFest?
Reasons first and foremost, and then I'm going to cover, kind of my plan going forward. If you guys want, you can jump to any specific section of this video that interests you the most. Now, that being said, I know this video probably will upset some people, and at the same time, I know there'll probably be people who are rejoicing that I'm leaving Final Fantasy XIV. And to both of those groups, hopefully you guys have the best day ever. I only wish good things for you always. But I consider myself an honest person. I always try to, be really honest with each and every one of you about how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking.
That's good.
And that's what this video is going to be.
I wonder if it's just, are you not having fun anymore?
If anybody's been following my content for any period of
burnt
time,
out?
None of this should come off as a surprise. We probably had these conversations more in private and on stream. But I want to be honest with you guys. I want to be direct with you guys, and I'm going to tell you what's going on. Now, if you guys want to see a review of Endwalker, I just posted that over on FFXIV. You can go check that out. I've got some plans for that channel, but we're not going to cover that here in this video. But there's three main reasons why I'm leaving Final Fantasy XIV, and I want to be also very direct and not have set false expectations. This isn't a break. I've been and I've taken breaks from Final Fantasy XIV. This is something very, very different. I'm actually not burned out of Final Fantasy XIV. This is something very, very different. Because I've experienced those things in the past. I feel like Final Fantasy XIV, I'm looking for them to invite me back into the game, and maybe 7.0 will be that re-invitation to the game. But don't misunderstand me. I'm not committing or promising that I will be back for 7.0 or 8.0. It's really going to be on Square Enix, and to see if they kind of make a game that I want to play and I want to invest my time in, but that hasn't been the case, and that hasn't been the case for a while. I think it's been the story that's kind of held me on. Story's been completed, and after having finished Omni 90, I could tell you that experience was the hardest thing I've had to do. And in regards to that, let's go ahead and dive into my reasons for leaving Final Fantasy XIV, just so we're all on the same page. So
he said that he's not actually burnt out. It sounds like he has some actual grievances with the game itself, like the way the game itself is run, the content in the game. And I've only seen, I think we only watched one other video of his that was recent. And what was that video about? Do you remember? He hasn't said it. That was just the intro. That's just the intro. So he's about to explain what his reasons are.
Covering Final Fantasy XIV
I'll hear him out.
for over 13 years. Longer if you actually count Project Rapture. This equates to easily over 120,000 hours. I have bled Final Fantasy XIV.
You don't have to Omni 90. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that. The reward isn't good enough. I omnied 80 because I got an incredible mount reward for doing that. I loved doing that because I got a big dopium at the end. But if you don't give me the... I mean, the level 80, all jobs to 80, all jobs to 90 reward is just a ribbon for your hair. You think I'm going to level monk for that? I mean, and machine... I know some people like monk. I just don't. Okay, I just don't like
slept. I have dreamed. I have daydreamed. I've written, and I have been a part of this community before it even was a community. Before there was even a game. I don't know why this game just captured my attention as a Final Fantasy fan, as an 11 player looking to see what this next generation Final Fantasy game could be.
Okay, you're saying he did Omni 90 for the controllers guides that he promised his community. Okay, so he wanted to do controller guides, and that's why he got every job to 90, but he said he wasn't burnt out, so I don't think that's...
And so it's been an incredible journey. During said time for this game, I wasn't even married. I had no kids. Now here I am as a father of 5, and that's really the first reason.
He has 5 kids? Oh my god, I had no idea. No wonder he's quitting Final Fantasy 14. Holy shit. That's all you had to say? Just say, well, I have 5 children. Okay. Well, sir, that's completely understandable.
I want to invest more time
Best of luck
in my
to you.
family. Clearly, they are everything to me. And I've been coaching soccer, been coaching baseball. We've been riding bikes. We've been doing so many fun things. And what I had to do to help get the content out, especially for, and I'm going to finish the controller guides, but we'll talk about that in a second. But I would be getting.
I want to say I'm happy for him. That's great, but still, I cannot wrap my mind around the time investment that you would need to raise 5 children. 5 children in your house.
Up at 5 a.m. every day. I'd be going to bed after 10. Like, these are some very long days that I have to be as a provider for the family, but also try to be present for the family, and at the same time also working on content. People will often ask, how do you do it, Brian? I can't, you put out content, you're doing all these things, how are you doing it? And it's like, I would always say, like, I get up before everybody else does.
You do not have to make any other justifications for people at all.
I'm up very early and I'm going to bed very late, and that takes a toll. That takes a big toll on anybody, right?
I can't believe he's been able to make any videos.
I want to pour more of my time back into my kids and into my family, and this I think is a really good thing. Yeah. They are like everything, and I'm looking, maybe one day they'll want to step into Final Fantasy 14, and at that point when they're old enough, that might be my re-invitation back to the game. But when it comes down to it, I feel very complete with the way that Final Fantasy 14 ended. I don't like how it ended personally, and you can go watch that video if you're interested, because I'm not rehashing it here, but I feel complete. I feel very satisfied with my experience, and that's why this all falls down into.
That makes sense too, because Endwalker was designed to be like the end of this long story arc. So it's like, if you were already felt like you need to step away, that feels like it would be the right time to do so, just thematically. Like, you're not ready to start onto this brand new adventure and the brand new arc that's going forward. You don't want to get too invested in it again. If you already felt like other factors were pulling you away.
Will they re-invite me back into the game? Ultimately,
yeah, that's valid.
Time will be the teller here, but no, I'm going to pour myself into that. I want to invest in my family. I want to invest in my health so that I can continue to be with my family.
That's
that
reason
really ties
number
into,
one.
Like, I'm not streaming late at night. I can't keep getting up at this early. I'd rather be investing my time, if I'm going to get up early, into exercise and making sure that I'm eating right and meals are planned, so that I can try to be there for them for as long as I can. And I think that makes a lot of sense, and hopefully people understand that. The second main reason is I'm going to keep investing into my comedy career. As a stand-up comedian, I'm having great success.
Wow.
Like, even outside of being...
Wait, I didn't know you did stand-up too. That's awesome. Man, I feel like a Cheems now, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hard for me to get up at 7:30 and start, working on getting my coffee ready and getting ready to talk to the stream today. And we get everything ready that we're going to talk about today. Meanwhile, it's like completely quiet here. I just have my dog and my cat. I have no excuse now. I have absolutely no excuse.
Successful in this space and having people show up for shows and
like, I'm genuinely impressed so far. This is not the reaction that I expected. This is not the way that I expected this video to go. Okay, he's like, well, actually, I just want to have time to take care of my 5 children and wake up early and do meal prep and exercise and work on my stand-up career. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought you were going to say the game is bad, and I could, but it turns out I feel like I'm the one getting memed on.
Getting invited back to shows and just ultimately really having a wonderful time with stand-up comedy. It's incredible for my mental health. There is so much that I get to explore, and I get to be funny, and I get to just really kind of not have to worry about the internet and the rules of the internet. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, I made a joke in a video, and like literally, like, obviously lots of positive, but the negatives always seem to float up. And it's those notes, those people who stated these dumb things about the joke, which was clearly a joke, that is the reason why I will never...
Wait, what was the joke? What was the joke that he made that some people didn't like very much? Look, I don't... what do you guys know? I've been to comedy clubs. I love to go to comedy clubs. It's one of my favorite things to do is watch stand-up. And I don't know if you've ever been to a comedy club, but sometimes those jokes can get a bit, like, not PC out there. And with varying levels of funny degrees, you know? Like, I feel like there's a little bit of a line that it's fun for a comedian to poke at, as long as they're not punching down, right?
Post my stand-up on the internet, and that because people are just so hypersensitive and they just can't seem to handle certain things.
I mean, I feel like this can go different ways, right? Like sometimes you can make a joke that's offensive because it's poking at norms, and that can be funny in like a way of looking outside at a problem and like addressing it in a new way and exposing the biases that people have in a funny way. That's one of the things that comedy does really well, that I enjoy about comedy. But then there's also the brand of comedy that's like just edgy and like being rude, like just straight up being rude and being an asshole and just saying that, oh, that's me being edgy. You know, I haven't heard his comedy, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, what are people being sensitive about? It could be a lot of things. I don't know what, but
it's not even like an offensive joke. It's just, it is what it is, right? But that just kind of reaffirms, like, I love being a stand-up comedian. I'm having great success.
I don't know what the joke was, but he seems to be referring to a specific joke that some people didn't like.
Being a stand-up comedian, maybe I can get to the point where I can take the show on the road, and maybe more people can then be a part of that. And so the second piece of this is that I'm going to invest more time into my stand-up, into writing jokes.
Okay.
You know, so again, family comes first, comedy right there after that. And then the third reason, which also won't come as a shocker for those of you who've been following the content, New World is just so effing good. It is such a great game, and it
is it? What year is it? Hold on. Holy shit! What the? No, it's still 2022. Okay. Holy shit! It's still 2020. I got scared, man. Like I thought I slept in pretty hard this morning. I just wasn't sure.
Delivers on the things that I've been advocating for in the world of Final Fantasy, and that's where I'm drawn to. Like, I can't deny the fun and the community that we've had, and so all of
I have I've never heard someone say that, but I guess there are some people that feel like that because people play that game. So I mean, it's not for me to tell you what's fun or not. You know, if you're having fun, if you love New World, then maybe you just want something else out of a game than what Final Fantasy can give you. Glad someone likes it, right? I'm not...
Those things, being somebody who has limited time, somebody who wants to spend his time and put them in the right buckets, leads me to saying, if I can play just one game, what game do I want to play? And this all came to a head when both New World and 14 had an update on the very same day. 14 deserves better than me having to force myself to play it for the content. And
well, you should never force yourself to play a game for the content. If you're not having fun, you should not play that, because people they can tell. Like, the viewers are incredibly perceptive. They can tell when you're having a good time. They can tell when you're not having a good time. They can tell when it's forced. They can tell when it's not. And you're not, it doesn't work like that way. You cannot force yourself to do it and expect any kind of success or results out of that, because I mean, they're with you. The viewers are along for the ride with you, and if you're not enthusiastic about it, then it's just not going to be fun for anybody. And it won't be sustainable in terms of like your energy.
I was kind of feeling it, and I was kind of questioning it, and I was hoping that maybe the updates would be staggered, so yeah, I could be a part of, you know, both, because Final Fantasy is a good game. Like, hopefully none of this comes across as like, oh, you shouldn't play Final Fantasy. Now, I'd still highly encourage you to check it out if you never played Final Fantasy. But at its core, I wanted to be in New World. That's where I want to spend my time when I have time to game, and that's where
I did not expect this. I haven't been keeping up to date with him, so actually, you know what I would love to see is a video explaining in detail, like, what is so amazing about New World that is way better than Final Fantasy, because I feel like I'm struggling to understand this. I'm really struggling right now. You said it's having a bit of a resurgence. This video is full of surprises. Okay. It's just a very different type of MMO.
I'm going to spin it, and that's why I'm leaving Final Fantasy XIV. My fear is that New World goes down the same route that World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV have gone down. We can see how that leads to issues in their success. Their success is of...
Yeah, actually, it's a really good point here in the chat. Like, if you hear this and you feel upset because he's leaving, because you feel uncomfortable when someone leaves a game that you like, you need to check yourself, because, like, it's not a cult. It's fine for people to leave. It's fine for people to not like it for any reason, no matter how silly that reason. Even if that reason is New World is better, to them that's valid, okay? I don't have to understand it, but they like that. So, I mean, who am I to judge? Like,
shouldn't we all be blessed to have that level of success that the games, I think, have struggled with late in their life cycle? And so that's hopefully something that, as a player, that I can continue to provide feedback for that game and make something new. I love that New World feels like it's a game that they're willing to take risks, and I really, really appreciate that. Where in Final Fantasy's terms, whether it's Square Enix, a budget, or whatever, it's a game that just doesn't take risks. It's a game that we've advocated for risk taking, but either they're just too burnt by the original launch, too scared, or from a financial perspective, it just isn't in their best interest. And I can respect that, but I wish they would. I wish 14 was a game that took risks, and it's just not anymore. It honestly feels, and I'm sure this is going to be probably the most upsetting thing I say in this video, honestly feels like it's a game that's designed as a way to placate angry WoW players. It's a game that's set up to catch
what? Holy shit. Was that... So this whole time, are you telling me that Final Fantasy XIV predicted from its inception that World of Warcraft would make people mad, and they built their entire game upon that premise, knowing that one day the WoW players would be mad and they would need a new home? That's what Yoshi P said at the start. When Yoshi P took control of 1.0 and they told him to fix it, he's like, and they were like, hey, you should make a really good Final Fantasy MMO. And he's like, no. I've seen a vision. I've seen a vision of a man. His name was Bobby Kotick. And in this future that I've seen in my dreams, all of the WoW players were crying tears, and I need to collect these tears, and we need to create a crystal from their crystallized tears, and this will be the crystal that our game will be built around, and give them a new place to live and be free. This is what our game is supposed to be. Let's go get to work studying World of Warcraft so that we know exactly what kind of game to build for these people, okay?
Player who gets so angry at World of Warcraft, here's a nice place to land. And that's a great business model. Honestly, it's pretty damn smart. And at the end of the day, it's just not a game that exists for me anymore. And that's perfectly fine. Not every game has to be for Brian. And despite my time with it, I don't regret any of the time I spent in 14. I don't regret helping people get into the game at all. But it's time for me to say...
He said, I think he was projecting what he feels the game is now. Do you think that it's just like worded weirdly? But he feels like they're just catering to angry WoW players? I don't get the talk of risk-taking, then go to New World to get pulled away from risk-taking at the last second as trying to appease to WoW players. I mean, if they wanted to appease WoW players, they would just start putting like 0.5% drops for mounts on random enemies, like random hunt mobs that appear in the world. Like an SSS rank with a chance to drop, like a 0.5% chance to drop like Alexander mount or some shit like that. Like that is what they would be doing. Or they would be adding chances for quests to randomly improve your gear, randomly roll like really good stats on your gear. They would be adding in like a shitload of new systems. They're resisting all that stuff. They're not doing any of that. Like, I don't know if there's that many disgruntled WoW players in JP over there. And it's mostly the JP community that they're listening to. Like, it's the JP forums that they're listening to and making changes and stuff. But wait a minute. Oh, shit. But wait a minute. They added Criterion Dungeon, and the NPC for unlocking the Criterion Dungeon's name is Osman. And isn't Osman an awful lot like Asmon? And isn't Asmon the one who asked for the hard, small-scale content? And so doesn't it mean that Yoshi this whole time, he created this whole thing just to appease Osman? That's what it's been. That's what it's always been. Osman, gold. Can't you see it? It's right in front of you. Use your eyes. Wake up, sheeple.
Goodbye. And those are the 3 reasons why I'm leaving Final Fantasy XIV. So it's at this point we talk about what comes next. Ryan, what about the controller guides? Ryan, what about live letters? What about FanFest? What about you and Chris at Work2Game? How is the content going to be structured? Work2Game was always a collaborative vision, a vision of sitting down and discussing MMORPGs, vision of discussing video games overall, but obviously a passion for the MMO. Chris has a great love for World of Warcraft. He loves Guild Wars too. I agree with him on Guild Wars, not so much on World of Warcraft, but we also share a handful of games. And so we're going to continue those discussions and we're going to continue that show. And if you guys are interested in that, that's something that we're going to keep moving forward on. When it comes to
of course he's entitled to leave. Like, I'm having some fun here memeing on him. Because, like, if you're gonna say something weird, you open yourself up for me to meme on you about it. But it's like, I'm not, like, ultimately what I want for him is to play a game that makes him happy. Okay? Like, I would hate to see somebody feel like they're pressured to continue to play when they're not having fun. Like, your life is short and there's no time to do that. And it's not even an effective business strategy.
Controller guides specifically, I've got 6 left to finish. I'm going to finish those. I started this. I want to make sure that everybody who's been waiting for those is able to get what they need so they can enjoy the job that they want on the input that they enjoy playing the game on. Hopefully that helps out. It always is very encouraging to me when I hear somebody, either they enjoy it, their kids end up playing the game and they're able to play with their family because controller's a little bit more easy to understand, I think, personally, if you've never played on mouse and keyboard. And then also for those of you who are physically impaired, who have some kind of, like inability to play on a mouse and keyboard, that I've been able to help out. So that means a lot to me, and I'm very glad that I've been able to help out. But the reality is I'm going to finish those.
That's nice.
I don't think I'm going to do, if I ever play the game again, any kind of crazy Omni 100 or whatever they end up doing, namely because I think that...
Yeah, if they wanted to make FFXIV like WoW, they'd make the story worse.
Really is a big thing that I didn't enjoy. I did it out of the love for the community, despite some of the community just being the absolute worst of humanity. I did it out of the love for the really good people on the parts of the community that I love. And so I want to finish those because I want people to be able to have that. Maybe somebody will step up and do controller guides, from here on out, and that'd be great. Maybe they'll...
It won't be me. I'll never do that.
Simplify and figure out some things to do, bring in some really cool technology. That'd be great too.
Absolutely
within the controller
not.
setup. I'll be very curious.
I cannot play a controller. I won't.
Again, looking for a reinventation, because they talk about another 10-year plan, and I don't know, it feels like it's complete, and I'm happy with where it was. So that's where I'm going to finish those. And then in terms of live letters and coverage of the news, I've got 13 plus years experience with this game. I think I can provide a lot of historical value and also a level of curiosity. Is this a piece of content that would make me want to play the game again. However, and with respect to those of you guys who might be upset that somebody who's not playing the game is covering it, and we know that those people exist, I'll be looking for feedback. If it ends up causing too much trouble, too much drama, too many trees like hitting the window, I'll be sure to kind of take that into account. And
That's
would
fair.
Be, willing to step away from that coverage if it became an issue where it was just causing people pain. I'm not here to dunk on your game and kill your joy. Like, I'm a very joyful person, and I really want Final Fantasy XIV to do better and to be better. And it's unfortunate that as a game, it's become that. It's become a game where the idea that it could improve is such an insult to people, versus where in New World, like, saying the game can improve, everybody gets excited. Like,
I don't think that's true, dude. Like, I think that it's not an insult to say the game can improve, because we pretty much talk about ways the game can improve every day on here. Like, I think every single day we talk about some way that the game can improve. Okay, so maybe in my experience, most people are happy to discuss that. In fact, it's one of the people's favorite things to talk about, is ways they want the game to improve. Like, this is all we talk about, really. So maybe it's more like the way you're saying that. Oh shit, I pressed the button. Like,
do better.
Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna put this as delicately as I can. If you're saying that from the perspective of someone that is not enjoying it, not having a good time, feeling forced to do it for the content, and then you make comments about that, and it's not fully from a place of like optimism for the game and seeing the potential for the game in ways that you're excited about, ways it could improve. If you do that from that other perspective of like, oh, well, this other game is way better, and I wish this game was more like that other game, and like, this has got this problem, and I'm just not having fun. Like, people will be able to pick up on that, and no matter how good your intentions are, no matter how good your point is, it will come across to people, and they will not take it as well as if you had given that exact same suggestion in a different mindset. Like, people will notice, and it's just not going to be better.
And it's unfortunate
that's my take on that.
As a game, it's become that. It's become a game.
There are some random FFXIV Andes who act like the game is perfect and it cannot be improved, but it's a tiny, tiny minority of people. Like, it's such a small fraction of people that are like that.
Where the idea that it could improve is such an insult to people.
He said New World launched with a ton of problems, so of course people are more open to change. FFXIV can improve as well, but I think how is more divisive. Maybe it's just because there's way more people playing Final Fantasy XIV, so that's why there's more opinions about ways that it can and should be improved. So because there's just a shitload more people who have or way invested in the game and have been for many years, and so with more and more people, you're going to have more and more debates and controversies. It's natural.
Versus where in New World, like, saying the game can improve, everybody gets excited. Like, yes, oh my gosh, imagine when we see this happen and when we can get this kind of content.
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and dunk on New World, okay? I don't want to do that, because let me tell you something. When I saw New World being advertised, I said here on stream, I don't care about that game. It doesn't look interesting to me. And then it came out and everybody got into it. And I said, well, I still don't really care about that game. It's just not that interesting to me. And then everybody went away from the game. And I said, well, I never tried it because I didn't care about it before it came out. I didn't care about it when it was hype, and I don't care about it now. And I'm still in that same exact opinion about New World. So
it's a very
I'm just telling you that I could, like, I don't think there's a game. There are a few games that I care so little about.
And 14
have
is
so
a very
little interest in.
And in a way insecure kind of defensive. I always kind of was confused by that mindset.
That's why I said earlier, I would like him to make the video that is what I like about New World that it has that FFXIV doesn't. I genuinely would like to see that video, that perspective, because I don't know a lot about that game because I have had so little interest in it, but there's always something that you could learn from another game. Like there's always something that, you know, what itch is it scratching that FF14 can't? Like, I think that you should be open-minded in hearing them out, hearing that, you know, what's caught his attention that maybe our game could take into account and consider.
That the idea that you're playing a game that does change in its nature, but yet you're absolutely afraid of that community policing is it just drives every good idea and even every bad idea. Just it's got to crush them all, because we can't let this game change. We have to, you know, control the narrative, and it's not for those reasons that I'm leaving.
I really struggle to understand this point. I really do. I think that you said you weren't burnt out.
The 3 reasons I listed are
but
reasons.
It kind of does sound like that to me.
I'm sure that those people will pop their head in occasion. But you know what? That's the game that they play. But that's essentially my plan, and those are the reasons why Final Fantasy 14 isn't the game for me. I really would love for it to become a game for me again. I've debated regarding FanFest. I want to go because even if it's 7.0 isn't a re-invitation, I want to hang out with everybody. We haven't had a physical FanFest in a while, and it'd be really great to see everybody, to hang out with everybody, to share that experience, if not at least for one last hurrah. But I'll keep you guys up to date on what that plan looks like, because I don't know, like right now I have subscription, and some of you guys were so generous, especially with my financial situation over the last couple of months, that were able to gift me sub time, and so one thought I have is continuing to keep my sub active as a part of going or trying to go to FanFest. I don't know if I'll get media access or not. I mean, that's obviously a question. Maybe Chris will be the only one who gets media access, who knows. But I'm not going to sit here and try to placate that and at the same time not be enjoying the content and not enjoying the time. But that's going to be the plan. Now, I have debated shifting my subscription into the Final Fantasy XI bucket, because
like I could never imagine not going to FanFest. Like, but it's me, so it's really hard for me to put myself in this like in his shoes and in his perspective. I cannot imagine what his life is like with 5 kids. I can't imagine what it is.
Final Fantasy XI means a lot to me. I'm debating on that. I have not yet
reached... But I really do feel like even... This is a great... Let's pause. Look at that tongue. Anyways, I got distracted by the tongue, and I completely forgot my point that I was going to say. Stop it. Don't put don't put the licking... Okay, I think what I was gonna say was that even in times, I guess BlizzCon is a good example. Even in times when I didn't care about WoW, and I kind of burned out from WoW, and I didn't want to play WoW anymore, even then, every time BlizzCon rolled around, I wanted to see it. I wanted to at least watch it, and but then again, it's me, and I feel like we're just really different people, because I'm very excitable. Okay, I get hyped very easily. It doesn't take a lot for me to get hyped on something, and yet I could not get hyped on New World. I said I wasn't going to dunk on New World. Okay, I'm sorry.
Decision. You can let me know how you feel either way in the comments. I'll be very curious as to that. But most of my
not trying to do that
in terms of gaming is really going to be focusing in on New World. Obviously, I'm very excited and looking forward to the future MMOs as well. So I'll be looking forward to that, and that's something where I'll shift my coverage to. I don't know what I'll do yet with Ginger XIV. I might become an 11 channel. It might just be a general Final Fantasy channel. At the end of the day, there's no wrong answers. We're just looking for the questions to ask, and that's going to be the thought there. But I wanted to give you guys this message. I wanted to give you guys these thoughts and wish you all the best, and thank you so much for all the support, especially within the world of Final Fantasy over these years. And hopefully none of this is surprising. Hopefully none of this upset you.
It was surprising.
Let me know one way or the
other.
But
if it upset you, then you need to check yourself, because if you're upset about this, then that's really dumb. Like, you should not be upset about this. You should be happy for him. Listening to himself is the thing that I tell you guys to do all the time. Check to see, are you having fun? Are you having a good time? And if you're not, you need to make a change, because life is too short.
Thanks, guys, so much again for your time. Thanks for listening to these words. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. But until then,
I wanted to understand his point of view. Exactly. Reltix is a very good point. Figure out how FFXIV is failing in his eyes. It's always worth to listen to people that, you know, had been really invested in the game for a while and then move away from it. That's, you should listen to people like that. You shouldn't just, you know, close your eyes and close your ears. I don't know why I did it like, close your eyes. This is backwards. And, you know, bury your head in the sand. And anybody who says that they don't like it, you know, they're doing clickbait, or they're way off base, and they got all these other problems. You should try to find what truth you can from their perspective. It's not a good tactic to say people get insulted if you suggest improvement and then not elaborate on points. That's fair. I do agree with that. I think really the thing that rubbed people wrong with this is more the complaints that he made about Final Fantasy specifically not feeling especially fleshed out. It felt more like he's just more interested in New World. And the specific complaints felt a bit weird. It was hard for me to understand them. And just like some of them didn't make any sense. Like the one about, you know, the game is built for WoW refugees, which that makes no sense at all. I really don't see anything in the game that would lead you to that conclusion. Because it's not, besides being a good MMO. There's nothing about it that is like geared towards WoW players in any way. It's just a good MMO, so that's attractive to MMO players. So some of it was weird, but give the guy a break. He has 5 kids. Jesus. Like, I really have a lot of sympathy for him. But I do also feel like people, I can't shake this feeling like people are really dogpiling on him and being super, super harsh in a way that I don't feel is entirely justified. But then again, I haven't really watched his videos lately. I've heard some people complain to me that they felt like there was a lot of clickbait he was doing, but I feel compelled to give the guy a lot of slack. I wish him well. Yes, he might return for 7.0 as he said. Yes, he'll probably be covering the live letters and maybe he will get interested in return. And if he does, I would hate to see people not want to welcome him back. Like, what if there is a live letter that comes up and he sees something in it that does reignite his interest in the game and he gets excited about the game again, he wants to play the game again, he wants to make content about the game again. If people treat him like shit after that, I'm gonna be pissed about it. Wow, someone said good riddance. And he pinned that comment. I do hope you continue to enjoy the game. That's harsh, man. I feel a little bit out of the loop here because I haven't been watching his latest videos. Like, has he been pissing off people to the point that a comment like this would get almost 200 likes on this video? Because this is crazy. What did he do that got everybody against him so hard? Jesus Christ. Like, even if he liked the game, how could he stick around with this kind of attitude? It does seem like the last few months of FFXIV has been a negative spiral for you, so stopping the game is most definitely the right call. Games are supposed to be fun. And if they stop being that, and New World is that for you, this is the direction you should go in. Yes.